Good afternoon, everyone. This is JAMB Live class and this is chemistry. And I want to apologize for last week. The technical issue took longer than expected. That's the reason why the class was cut off unexpectedly. And so today we'll start off from that part, and that was indicator. So last week's topic was acid, base, and salt. So we'll continue from, we talked about pH. I was talking about pH scale. And I said it's the numbered scale used to measure the acidity or the alkalinity of a solution. And the scale is from 0 to 14. 7 being the middle point. 0 to 14. 7 is the middle point, and this is neutral. 0 to 6.9 acidic. 7.1 to 14 basic. And I said for acidity, this is more concentrated, so it moves from year to year. So this is the increasing and this is the decreasing, because somewhere around here you are tending towards neutral. And here this is the least. 7.1 will be the least basic, and then this will be the most, 14. So somewhere a substance that has 8.2 pH value and another with 13.4 pH value. This is more basic than this because this is close to 14. Whereas between 1.0 and 6.2, 1.0 is more acidic. This is already getting close to neutral. And so after pH scale, let's consider pH itself. What is pH? pH is the negative logarithm. The negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration. Hydrogen ion concentration to the base of 10. The negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration to the base of 10. So I can write pH to be minus log H plus. pH is negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration to the base of 10. So in that same light, pOH would then be the negative logarithm of hydroxide ion concentration to the base of 10. Where this is H, this is OH. So pOH then would be minus log OH. And we know hydroxide is negative. So for hydrogen, it is positive. Hydroxide is negative. pH plus pOH plus pOH is equal to 14. Likewise, hydrogen ion concentration and OH minus concentration, their multiplication is equal to 10 raised to power minus 14. Hydrogen ion concentration multiplied by this is equal to 10 raised to power minus 14. pH, that's this whole was plus the negative logarithm plus that of this, which is all of this, is equals to 14, and it corresponds with the scale. The scale is from 0 to 14. Let's try a calculation question. If you are to determine the hydroxide concentration of 0.001 HCl, hydroxide and POH. Hydroxide concentration of this. The first thing is to write our balance equation, and our balance equation will be Cl H plus Cl minus. So from this equation, we know this is a balanced equation. So I can say 1 mole of this will give 1 mole of this, right? And this is the hydroxide, the hydrogen ion here. But our question is hydroxide. So here, we can determine that of this and then determine this. We can determine that of H plus, and from H plus we get OH minus. So we know that 1 mole of HCl will give 1 mole of hydrogen ion. So I can say that 0.001 mole of HCl, which was given in the question, would also be 0.001 mole of this. And I know this formula, that hydrogen plus OH minus would give 10 raised to power minus 14, right? And so from this, OH minus would be equal to 10 raised to power minus 14 divided by that of H plus. And so with this, I can say 10 raised to power minus 14 divided by this value, 0.001. So let's punch this on our calculator. And that is 10 raised to power minus 11. And so my OH minus concentration, that's hydroxide concentration, is equals to 10 raised to power minus 11. But I was also told to determine the pOH. And we know pOH is the negative logarithm of it. So let's determine that as well. So pOH is equals to minus log of OH minus. And so from here, it would be minus log into bracket 10 raised to power minus 11. When you punch this on your calculator, the answer would be 11. So my pOH is 11. From this value, I can determine my pH, because my pH then would be equals to 14 minus pOH. And this would be 14 minus 11, which would be 3. And so my pH is 3. My pOH is 11. For this question, because of the compound, which is HCl, it is 1:1. There are some compounds that will not give 1:1, like H2SO4. Let's attempt something like this. Let me check the question here. Okay. Find (0.02 molar H2SO4. That's tetrahydrosulfate 6 acid. From here, the first thing we have to write is a balanced equation, and that will be H2SO4. And this is called ionization equation because it's just ionized. No reaction actually is taking place. This is H plus SO4 2 minus. And so from here, this is not balanced. Hydrogen is 2 here, hydrogen is 1 here. So we have to put 2 here. This way it is balanced. The charge here, for a neutral compound, the charge will be 0. The charge here is +1, the charge here is The charge here is +2 because it's 2 times plus. So +2, the charge here is -2. +2 -2 will give 0. So they are all balanced. So from here, we know that 1 mole of H2SO4 would give 2 moles of H plus because it is ratio 1:2. And the question says 0.02 molar of H2SO4. So 0.02 molar of H2SO4 will then give 2 times this value, which is 0.02 H plus. So this is 0.04. And so this is the value we'll be working with. So can we try to attempt this question? Okay, so any answer yet? Any answer? Adun, precious, happiness, peace, good luck. Dorcas, Fatima, Jeze, princess. Any answer yet? Princess, peace, precious, Jeze, happiness. Good luck, Fatima, Dorcas, Adun. Any answer yet? Are we here? Please, I want to hear someone's voice. Can someone, so that I know that we are here? I'm not talking to myself. Anybody, just unmute and say something. Okay. All right. Okay, so I know someone is here. Okay, so what's your answer for? What's hydrogen ion concentration? Hope you can hear me. My voice is not low. Hope you can hear me. I don't know what's wrong with my voice, but yes, you can hear me. That's very good because I don't know. I just feel that I'm not talking loud enough and I'm trying to. Okay. Any answer, anybody, anyone. So I know that you understand what I've been saying so that we can move on. Adun, good afternoon, ma. Good afternoon to you. I'm not clear, please. You're not clear with what, Adun? At this junction, I think you have to unmute your mic so that I can know where you don't understand it. Can you explain one more time? Explain what part? What exactly? Is it the calculation question of H2SO4 because of the 2 hydrogen ion concentration? Speak up, talk to me, let me hear your voice. All right. But you understood when I explained the HCl. This one in particular. Can you attempt this one so that I know that you are fine with 1:1? It's just 1:2 you don't know. Can you try to attempt this one? If you get the answer correctly, so I know where exactly you have issues. And if you don't get the answer correctly, so I know that generally you don't understand the calculation. So I need to know where, so I should know what to say. Any other? What did you say? What? Okay, no problem. That's not a problem. I will solve this one so you'll be able to understand. I will solve it, but I just need one or two persons to get the answer correctly so that I know that I've communicated the concept well. Nobody. Dorcas, Fatima, good luck. Are you here? Happiness, Jose, precious, peace, princess. Nobody. Are you here? Should I continue? You are still trying to, okay. So I need you to hurry up so that I can continue. So I don't assume that you know it already. Ten raised to power what? Or is it 12 raised to power? I don't know. You might get something different. So let's check. Or is it 2 raised to power? Just say whatever you got. You know you don't have the whole of the day when it comes to JAMB. You're expected to finish one question in less than 1 minute. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Okay, I think at this point I would have to do it myself. But I need to know that some persons are attempting it. Someone unmuted. I think Dorcas unmuted and she made mention of she's trying it. So Dorcas, what did you get? Jay-Z also unmuted. Jay-Z, what did you get? Let me know. Just one value. Can randomly see any value so that I just know you're here. Okay, so you're not getting it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I would solve this. But do we know okay, let's do this. We know that hydrogen ion concentration and hydroxide ion concentration is equal to 10 raised to power minus 14. This is standard, right? pH plus POH is equals to 14. pH is equals to minus log of H plus. POH is equals to minus log of OH minus. These 4 formulas, you need to know them. So from here, let's attempt the question. The question says determine pH of, okay, let me do it like this. Determine pH of 0.001 HCl. pH of this. This compound contains hydrogen and chlorine. When I ionize this compound, HCl, I will then get hydrogen ion plus Cl minus. From this compound, I cannot get hydroxide ion because it's not here. I can only get these 2. And the question says I should determine the pH of this concentration. From this breakdown is just like breaking down water. You know, water would be H plus OH minus, right? This is one hydrogen, this is another hydrogen. There are 2 hydrogens here. This is one oxygen, there's one oxygen. So it's more like breaking it down to their elements, right? And this is, we know for a neutral compound, the charge is 0. The charge here is +1. The charge here is -1. +1 minus 1 will give you 0. Fine. So this is 0, this is 0. We are good. Are we good to this junction? I need to explore. Are we good here? We are good. All right. So from here, let's come back to this one. So from here, we know that this is 1:1. 1 mole of HCl will give 1 mole of hydrogen ion. Let's consider another compound, H2SO4. H2SO4. If I ionize this, I will get H plus SO4. We know this is a complex ion, so it will be SO4. Phosphate, and phosphate is 2 minus. But this is 2, so I'll put 2 here. So here it is balanced. This is 2 hydrogen, this 2 hydrogen, 1 sulfur, 4 oxygen. This ion carries the charge of 2 minus. And then this is plus. We know hydrogen carries the charge of plus. And so we are good up to this point. From here now, we will know that 1 mole of this will give 2 moles of this. Unlike in H2SO, unlike in HCl, 1 mole of this will give 1 mole of this. So if I have 3 moles of this, of HCl, and I'm told to determine how many mole would 3 moles of HCl, how many mole of hydrogen ion would 3 moles of HCl produce? Definitely it will be 3, because it is ratio 1 to 1. So 1 mole of HCl will ionize to give 1 mole of H plus. Unlike H2SO4, 1 mole of H2SO4 will ionize to give 2 moles of hydrogen ion. Why? Because they are in ratio 1 to 2. So if I'm asked, if given 30 moles of H2SO4, how many, when I ionize it, how many mole of hydrogen ion would I get? Since it is ratio 1 to 2, it would be 13 times 2, and this is 26. Are we good? And so the question says pH of 0.01 mole of HCl, and I know it is ratio 1 to 1. And so I know that